make it a career. All the tools are in your hands and everything like that, but if you have all that hand in hand in mind, everything's successful.
Excellent, excellent, excellent. This question is for Jeff or Greg, or both of you guys. What does it mean to get a label deal in today's music industry? What does that mean? Give us the, just some different type of deals that they do in the record company nowadays, and how does an artist benefit from a record company deal?
I'm a big proponent of major labels because in today's market, I believe you can hear all these stories about people making a lot of money, and most of them do have a lot of backing. It takes money to make money, in my opinion. And I'm talking about major money with people sustaining a career that, for the most part, is going to take care of their kids and their grandkids. I do 360 deals. Everybody know what that is out here? No?
Explain what a 360
deals are pretty much the norm. They started probably around 2004. And 360 deals are where the label owns a piece of everything that you do. Publishing, touring, merchandise, all the types of royalties across the board. And I do those now too, because I have to be able to offer those to the record label. So the band signs to my company, and then the major label signs my company, so it goes through Rock Shop Music Group. I think major labels you don't even realize, they put millions of dollars into developing the act. It costs a lot of money to go out to radio. It costs money to do, not just make the video, but market it, get it out. The marketing's an insane amount of money, and there's a lot of competition out there. Getting the band out, writing, and all that, it's a big investment. And you can mention out some bands that are huge right now, but they had like millions of dollars invested in them. Like Thrift Shop, that was not just an indie release. I
found that out last night from you, actually. I found out they had a big investor.
Yeah, huge. Taylor Swift, millions and millions of dollars. Her father owned Swift Trucking.
How about you, Greg? How do the artists benefit from working? Let's say you sign a deal or ink a deal with Greg Long in your company. How do the artists benefit from that?
It's really all about just all-around support. I can't really speak for major labels because I'm not one, but as far as the bands that we work with, mid to high-level national touring bands, it's all about being able to offer them shots on tours, being able to market their stuff, not also just physically in the world with flyers and everything like that, but extreme amounts of attention to social media and being really, really aggressive on all those networks. Because as far as building a fan base and working with a label, it's really a long-time commitment that both people are getting into, and it's something that needs attention day by day. Labels treat bands. You have a garden. Labels are watering each garden, and chances are the one that's going to grow the highest is the one that's showing the same amount of energy back. And you can bet the label is going to definitely give attention to the one that's growing the fastest. So.
Excellent, excellent. This question is for you, Jason. As a manager, what does the manager do for the artist? And what are the most important responsibilities when you're working with an artist? What's your most important responsibilities?
The question is, what don't I do? As a manager, you're literally doing everything. I'm the asshole, I'm the psychiatrist, I'm your brother, your mother, and your father, and I'm making sure that we basically, bottom line, have a team that will help you, support you in the long run. From making sure that we have a timeline to making sure that everything is spot on. It's a lifestyle, I must say, but I love what I do. The responsibility, that's a huge responsibility, is just making sure no matter what we're doing, the artist is happy.
Excellent, excellent. This question's for everybody here. Now I got a record deal, and I got a great manager. I got a great team built. I've made it. What happens next?
One of the most important things, a lot of people, I feel like, don't really put a lot of emphasis on this, but booking agents are probably one of the most important things that you can have in the industry. So definitely, if you have a great manager and a great label already, the booking agent's definitely the next step.
Excellent, excellent. Hi, Jeff.
You get a record deal, you make a record. That's the most important thing. having hit songs. Just because you have a record deal doesn't mean anything at all. You'll get an advance and whatnot, but if you don't make a hit record, you'll probably pretty much get dropped. The minute one of my bands gets a record deal, we start writing, and we focus on the writing. We don't stop until we've got a ton of songs that are all smash hits. Then you narrow it down pretty much to the top 10 songs. You work with the record label in choosing those songs, producing them right, getting them out to the radio people, seeding it, and finding out how to market it. Then you do record setup, which is about 4 months. A lot of major labels will not stick an artist on tour until they are at radio. So all this touring, in my opinion, it's a little bit different if you're doing indie band stuff, but if a record label, a major label is not going to pay tour support for an artist to go out until they have a hit song at radio, I don't really think it's worth that much. I think the most important thing you need to focus on is getting hit songs and a sound for yourself. You could be packing 1,000 kids, and if you don't have a hit song, a record label is not going to give you a deal, and that's just a major one, because it's proven not to sell. And can name a million different things going on right now, but it's really affecting our market. You have to have those hit songs that people are going to want to buy, because that's going to be the impetus for merchandising and touring, because that's where you're going to make most of your money. So you have to have something that's a facilitator to drive that.
Excellent, excellent. This one's also again for Jeff and Greg. You have a repertoire of artists. How do you decide which one to put most of your time and most of your money and most of your effort into? How do you pick which artist you're going to really dedicate yourself to?
The best one. Each one stands out on their own, so you got to choose. I mean, if you're at a record label, you have to look at your schedule. You don't want bands competing. I'm assuming that if I'm going to sign an artist, I love them all the same. So the ones that are ready to go, marketing-wise, that's what we go with. And then you focus on that. But I mean, you have to put everything you have behind it, because I sink or swim with my artist. You know, if they don't succeed, I don't succeed, and I'm losing. So you can focus on them two at a time. I mean, I'm doing that right now. But you just work with whatever.
Who are the two artists you're working with right now, Jeff?
I'm developing 2 artists. I have a band on Universal already, and we're doing radio setup right now for them. They're called Worm. I found them at a consultation, which I'm doing here. Developed a band that came out to Los Angeles. They're signed to University Republic, finished the record with Don Gilmore, did the first 2 Linkin Park records with me. They're just starting to do some tours. I have a band in Sweden called Riot Child, who I'm developing, and I just did a publishing deal with through BMG. They're on their way to Los Angeles in 2 weeks, and I've got a band in Dallas called Atticane, which I'm developing. That started off kind of as a rock band, and I've really influenced a lot of more electronic sounds along with some indie stuff, and it's creating a new entire sound and an identity that is, I think, unique but very, very commercial. So I've got 2 unsigned acts, and I've got the one on Universal Republic now.
Excellent, excellent. I got one more question for you guys before we open it to the floor. How are musicians, labels, and managers making money these days? Where's it coming from, and who gets a piece of what?
I mean, it's basically, music, for me, it's music and merch. I mean, bands, it depends what market you're in. You could get a song in a movie and make incredible amounts of money. But, for me, a lot of people say, merch is like one of the main, points of selling stuff today. Plenty of my bands still sell digital sales, that are just up there just as high as their merch. But yeah, since it's always been, merch and music, it's the best way to get it out there and make money off your product.
Excellent, excellent. Cool. Well, we're going to open the floor, guys. So we got a little bit of time here to just do a little quick Q&A. Who here's the first question? Go ahead. First off, when you guys ask a question, by the way, go ahead. No, you're going to use the microphone. Everybody's going to use the mic. Just to announce who you are, introduce if you're in a band. Please let us know which band you're in, and then just ask your question from there.
Hey, I'm Lance. Hello.
Hey, Lance.
Hey. And I'm in the band Darling Waste. I also work with Gorilla as well. My question is about, it's like a 2-part question, I guess. It's mostly about how to release music. The first part is what format should we be doing it? For instance, my band toured with a little label who gave us 1,000 download cards. At the end of the tour, we threw them in a garbage bag and then tossed them, and we sold a couple hundred CDs. The label told us CDs were dead, but we were selling CDs and weren't selling any download cards. Kids wanted them for free. That's the first question. What format? I know people are collecting vinyl, but eh. And then the second one is how many songs? Do you guys support the like 2 releases per year with 6 songs? Or, you know, should we be looking at albums or only singles, or, you know? So yeah, what format, how many songs, how often?
I mean, I think it really depends, you know, what size your band is and where you are. I mean, there's bands out there that can put, you know, their face on a coffee mug and sell, you know, 1,000 of those overnight. You know, there's tons of bands out there that sell, you know, tape decks and vinyl and stuff like that to kids who don't have vinyl players. So, you know, it all really depends, like, what kind of market you're in. That's my take on it. As far as, like, you know, you always want your release to be, you know, you want it to be as successful as possible. You know, but there's a lot of people, a lot of bands and stuff. As far as labels that I look into, like Rise and Sumerian and Invoke and stuff like that, a lot of times, you know, the releases that they put up, even if they're by really, really big bands, you know, they peak like the first, you know, 2 to 3 months. And after that, unless they have, you know, either, like I said, one really, really memorable song, like he was saying with Thrift Shop, you know, 90% of the people in here know that song, but, you know, there's only 1 or 2 other songs you could name off of this, you know, off that album.
He's got 3 songs right now.
Yeah. But, you know, that's, you know, he has 3 songs, and, you know, your band can have 6 full-lengths, and, you know, there's different values there. So, I mean, you just want to keep your fans interested in you. You know, you want to put out content, you know, pretty actively. You know, there's tons of bands out there. It's really easy for people to forget about you unless you're constantly putting out, you know, if you want to stay active as a band, you know, you put out a release, you're going to want to do playthroughs on the internet of your stuff, you know, you're going to do lyric videos, you're going to do a music video, you're going to want to do anything that you can just put more value into the content that you've already created and talk about it, you know, without it getting stale, you know. Because obviously, you know, the first couple months beforehand, the first couple months after that, you're going to be getting like a press push. Hopefully you're going to be looking into getting your stuff into magazines and, you know, website takeovers and things like that. But yeah, it all really depends where your band's at. You know, I've had bands who have released stuff for free and have gotten a lot of attention off that, enough to where they can, you know, release 3 EPs for free, and a year later they do, you know, 2,000, 3,000 units, which, I mean, to his bands that he's worked with might not be a lot, but to me in the industry that I work in and the bands that I work in, 2,000 units is a pretty decent amount for, you know, your last release being a media fire release, you know, or being on Bandcamp by yourself. So, I mean, like I said, if you just kind of try and keep your fans happy, that's, you know, that's the main goal. So there's no real.
So the bottom line is feed your fans.
Yeah,
feed
absolutely.
them. Try to release as much as you can, you know. And one thing that we always say at Gorilla Music is, you know, try to do an EP, just a 6-song, you know, EP twice a year. You know, instead of, you know, it saves half the cost of studio time. Obviously, it's the same, you know, print cost, but, you know, graphic design, all that stuff. But the studio time is the biggest cost when you're doing a record. So, you know, if you could save that money and try to release more, you'll feed your fans more often. Go ahead. We got time for a couple more questions too. Go ahead and come up. You're next, buddy. You're next. After him.
Yes, it's I'm Aaron Moody. I'm with the Packer Project. Wondering what the best way to get radio exposure is. Nice job. Getting stations to play you.
It all depends on your music and everything. Radio is important. I mean, but like, you know, almost all the big stations are on, you know, like Clear Channel or whatnot, and you can't just get on there. So, you know, local stuff, it's difficult. You can hire an indie promoter, and that's the way to do it, and that costs money. You know, but that's, you're going to do it. That's exactly what Thrift Shop did too. You have to go and spend a lot of money for that. I mean, I think the most important thing is if you're trying to get a deal, there's 2 different things here. There's indie deals and then there's major label deals. The way I do stuff, which nobody's brought up here, I think it's important to address, is publishing and film and television. If you want to get the marketing like that, you know, I've broken a lot of bands through that, and I've made bands money through that because I work songs to film and television. And that's a very difficult thing to do. There's a million places out there that'll you know, go, oh, we'll do a non-exclusive 50-50 deal. You may make $1,500 on something that's a shot in the dark. You want big exposures with big TV shows. And I do that a lot. I mean, I've made millions of dollars on a single song just by working it and writing it for film and TV. And that's also broken in every single country. That song, I don't know if anybody knows Pictures of You, but it literally has been in virtually every TV show, every mall across the country. There was, remember, a band called Last Good Night. And I'd sing it, but I have a horrible voice. You know, made a ton of money and still does, and it's a source of income.
You helped co-write that song, right?
Yeah, co-wrote it, produced it, played it, developed the band, and the band didn't do that great, but we made at least about $4 million off of one single song. And that has to do with, that's how we got exposure in every country, by an Ugly Betty or a Canning commercial or a movie trailer. And people were like, oh, I know that song, and people had it on their iTunes, they didn't know who the band was, but that's a constant source of income where they can't take that away from you. It's not like, you know, somebody could download that for free. You have sync licenses, and this is stuff people don't really know about. You know, you're getting money no matter what, and making money through the performance rights. And you know, I would really suggest everybody educates themselves about that, and that's something I do in consultations too, and tell people how to make money through that.
Excellent, excellent. Actually, for that song, Jeff won a BMI award, actually, from BMI for that song, The Last Good Night. Come on over. Last Good Night, sorry about that.
Hi, I'm Brad Crozer. I'm the manager of the Scenic Rock. How important is social media, guys? You know, you always hear people saying Facebook and YouTube are important, but those, I think the people who are saying that probably don't know more than I do. So is it, when you're looking at artists, is it something that's really important that they have a big presence, or are you looking at the numbers? Do you really care? I just curious.
I personally think social media is very important. However, I must say that all my big artists had no presence. Linkin Park, nobody ever heard of them. Macy Gray, nobody ever heard of. Last Good Night, none of my bands. But it is important still. I mean, you have to have hit songs in addition to that. There's no one surefire way to do anything other than having a hit song. You can have 1 million fans on something. Doesn't mean you're going to sell a record. Doesn't mean anything, because most of those fans aren't really going to buy your stuff. End of the day, if you have hit songs that are on the radio and then you get all the attention there, they're probably going to buy your stuff because they support it. So there's no easy way out other than having hit songs and being a great performer.
Excellent, excellent. We got time for a couple more questions. Go ahead, come on, step on up.
I'm Zach, I play Terry Boys. I was wondering if you're in a band that's starting to make kind of, not a lot of money, but decent money, what is the best way to spend that on? Like more promotion, touring, video, doing better studio, like what's the best way to go about using that?
I mean, I absolutely believe it's about, you know, trying to get as much exposure as you can at other money that you make, you know? I don't really, you know, when I put on one record by one band, I'm not thinking so much, you know, obviously I'm thinking about that record, but I'm also thinking about, you know, this is much more as a preparation for the next release I do. So, you know, I mean, that's my thoughts on it.
Excellent, excellent. We have time for one more question, and then I'm going to have one more question after that. Anybody else? We already have a question up front.
2 questions now.
Was it? Well, I know that, but this guy had already asked a question. I just wanted to make sure we didn't have everybody else right here.
No one else back there?
No.
What about that guy in the gold shirt back there? With the funky glasses?
The one that kind of looks like a preschool
What are you
teacher.
doing back there? I saw some weird hand movement. My bad.
I saw him too.
Hi, Gary from Falling in the Fire. You mentioned have a hit song, got a hit song quite a bit tonight. How do you know if you've written a hit song, or how do you go about writing a hit song?
Well, within 10 seconds, I'm singing.
Great question.
If I can listen to that song, or I can give it to my grandmother or my little daughter, and she's singing it, I mean, that's a hit song right there. If you can capture somebody in within 10 seconds, and you even hear the chorus once, twice, maybe 3 times, and it's stuck in your head, and even tomorrow it's there. I mean, right now I can probably, you know, Adele, she's stuck in my head right now, and she probably is everybody's ears, just because she's a phenomenal songwriter.
Excellent.
I would say a hit song, that is a kind of a multi-tiered question, because a hit song can be a hit song, but it can also not be right for the moment. I've walked hit songs into record labels, and the head of a label will go, this is a smash hit song, but we cannot sign this. And that's what a lot of people don't understand. A hit song is a hit song, however, you have to have a demand for that hit song. You know, it's like, it has to be contemporary, it has to be something that you are going to be able to make money off of. end of the day, you are in a business. Anybody who just goes, I'm not here to play music, is full of BS in my opinion. You're here because you're spending your time and money and you want this as a career. So same with a record label. A hit song has to be an amazing song with an identity, a massive hook. You get to the vocal like immediately, no long intros, ready for radio, and has a signature sound. The signature sound must be identifiable only to you. Okay, so and it also has to be contemporary. I mean, I can't emphasize that enough. People out here are doing stuff that is, man, that's a hit song for 1995. And a record label is not going to put that out, even if they love it. And I've been told that, like, you know, this is an amazing song, but you can't even pay us to put this out because we wouldn't make money off this right now.
Gotcha. One more question for myself. For all those hard-working musicians out there, and obviously we know Elvis and the Beatles and Michael Jackson all had the one thing in common with their work ethic. What other advice could you give all those hard-working musicians out there? Let's just start with Greg. What advice can you give all those hard-working musicians? And then we'll go from all the way to Jason. Go ahead.
I mean, you basically just have to take it from being a hard-working musician to being, an obsessed hard-working musician. I put 14, 15 hours a day into the stuff that I do, and it, not all of it, fills my pockets. A lot of it has to do with risks and trying to, open up certain opportunities. But, if you put enough energy into something, you're doing it in the right way, you're going to see results. So that's how I feel about that.
Great advice. Eat, sleep, and shit music.
Yes.
That's great. Go ahead, Jeff.
I think it's very important that everybody doesn't have an ego. There's plenty of times where I think I have an amazing song, and I'll walk it into a record label, and they're like, and I'll understand why, and I'll go back, and I'll always be able to improve that. Don't ever assume that what you have is a hit song, because I do it plenty of times, but I always go back to the drawing board, and I'm always open to hearing everybody. Also, don't listen to your friends when they go, oh my God, it's a hit song, I love it. You want to get a completely objective person, that doesn't care at all about your music, and that's the person. And everybody has an opinion, and those are the people I listen to. And always go with your gut instinct, too. But you always have to listen to other people as well, because that's your audience.
Excellent. Jason?
It's bottom line relationships and networking. If you guys want it, you guys need to be out here talking to every single person. I want you to be a social butterfly. There's no room for egos in this business. There really is. There's a lot of competition that is out here, and if you are that person that's not out there talking to people and meeting your fans and building true fans that are overall, it's not going to be long lasting.
Excellent. Well, on behalf of everybody attending here, we'd like to thank you guys for being the panel and being part of the music festival. Let's hear it for our panelists, guys. Greg Long, Jeff Blue, Jason Long.
And Dan Cole. Ladies and gentlemen, Dan Cole on the front row.
Thank you guys so much. Enjoy the rest of the Freedom Music Festival. Thanks everybody for participating in the event. Once again, thanks to Peabody for putting on this event. Great event. And thanks everybody.